Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you all today. It's a privilege. And I chose a little bit of a strange title, something to provoke some interest was what I was asked to do. And so it's called Win-Win, Surfing the Wave of Possibilities. And what it is really about is about our education and the ecosystem that we have around education, innovation, and research here. And I am the head of the study board, so that's why I'm waving the flag of teaching and education here today. But I also thought of a second title for that, which was an approach for maximizing student learning, the impact of their startups, and getting some research projects to boot, which is what we also like to do. And I tried to make a model of this concept, this ecosystem. And I think what we've created, hopefully you can read it, is that we have created an ecosystem of learning and innovation and research here at DTU. And that when the surf is up, we should ride the wave. I also come from Australia, so I like surf and surfing. And I think that often that we go a certain distance, but the wave is built up and we just let it ride past under us. Whereas we should chase the wave and we should stand up on the board and we should ride it all the way and maximize the impact. And this is to do with courses. We have a lot of courses here at DTU, which are around innovation, around entrepreneurship, and where students get a lot of ideas, where they come up with inventions, and in some cases they make startups. And we can optimize the impact of these startups if we use them in our research projects, if we use them in our courses, and this can go around again and lead to new ideas and innovations from the students, and new startups, and new research projects. And so we can go around the circle like this. This also helps to optimize learning from the students and the impact of the courses as they learn more and more and more by surfing this wave. And right now it might sound all a little bit abstract. What am I talking about? And I will try and exemplify this with some examples. And I'm going to go back in time, and there'll probably be at least one, maybe two people in the audience that will be surprised to see their faces here today on my slides. But back in 2018, there was a group of very enthusiastic students called Hanan, who is sitting in the audience, and Carmen, and Panagiota as well, who I think maybe also is sitting in the audience here, and Iana. And they were in a course that I was teaching on innovation in future foods, and they came up and invented a vegan substitute for cheese, because we can't call it a vegan cheese, obviously. So it's a vegan substitute for cheese, and they won a student competition, the Danish Ecotrophilia competition. And then they went forward and they actually came second in the European Ecotrophilia competition as well. And then this is where we start to see the integration and increasing the impact of the learning. Because then they were able to do some of their master's projects on aspects which were related to this idea, this startup concept. So Carmen, for example, did her master's thesis with Klaus, one of the researchers, senior researchers here at the Institute, on starter cultures for plant-based foods. For example, cheese substitutes. So there was a production of results which were relevant for research projects here at the Institute, but also there was data which was of relevance for Cheese It Yourself's startup. Cheese It Yourself actually went on and they won the Green Tech category of Venture Cup. And so you could see the wave is building up now. It's getting bigger and it's ready to break so that we can surf down on that wave. Hanan started his PhD, and I just was speaking to him just a couple of minutes ago, and he's about to finish. He'll be finishing on the 31st of December. So it's a very exciting time for him. And I think that Panagiota is also here, but I haven't really caught up with her in the recent times. But at the end of the day, Cheese It Yourself went their separate ways. There were a group of international students and changed their priorities. But I also always thought, what if they and we could have surfed the wave together with them that had formed. And you can still find Cheese It Yourself's homepage, their company homepage. It's still alive. I was in yesterday and looked at it. But let's move on to actually where this has all come together as a kind of perfect storm. You all already heard our president talk about Tempty Foods. And last year, we had these three ladies, Cecilia, Anna, and Martina, who joined my course, again, about developing innovative future foods. And they invented a new food, which is a mycelia-based food. They're not trying actually to substitute other foods. They're trying to create a new type of food which doesn't try to substitute or replace something else. But it's based on mycelia, filamentous fungi, you could say. They won the Danish Ecotrophilia competition. They received a number of small grants, and they then started up a company called Tempty Foods. Cecilia and Anna then did their master's projects on subjects relevant to Tempty Foods. Cecilia did her project on fermentation of filamentous fungi with Klaus and myself, and Anna did her project at Copenhagen Uni together with Michael Baum-Frost therein. And these students, they were also multidisciplinary. Anna came from Copenhagen Uni, Cecilia from DTU Food Tech, and Martina was from Design and Innovation, if I remember correctly. So then I got contacted by Mikolai, who was looking for cases for a LCA, Life Cycle Analysis course at DTU. And I was thinking, maybe we could create some synergy here, because Tempty needs to have more sustainability data, more life cycle analysis data. So they could have a case for another DTU course. They could provide data and information as a case owner. So Tempty Food supplied a case to the LCA course, and this gave learning for the students on the course, but also it gave a lot of sustainability life cycle analysis data to Tempty Foods that they could use in their case. So then they could go on and compete in the European competition, which they won. Then at the end of last year, they won an Innofunder grant, which means that they can get paid, their salaries are paid, to work full-time on their startup company, and they get coaching and all sorts of other things. And then the synergy becomes even greater, because Tempty Food then supplied a case to the massive Master's Innovation course at DTU. So this is an innovation course where all students at DTU must take. It's obligatory for every master's student at DTU. So we're talking thousands of students. And they're broken up into different themes, and Tempty Foods is one of the themes. So they had 50 students from DTU, master's students, working on innovating their product. So Tempty got out of it new innovative foods and ideas to grow their company. And of course, the students got access to learning and to a real case with real case owners. So Tempty Foods has also applied for funding together with us to develop and understand their project process better, research funding. And we can also hope that they will continue to provide cases for us for our teaching. I can move on to now, Crunchies. This is from 2022. We have 3 students again, Savino, Suellen, and Martha, join the course. They invent a new food. They win the Danish Ecotrophilia competition. They've received some small grants. And whilst they haven't quite done it yet, their aim is to start up a company. They actually fed in as a case to our course on entrepreneurship in the food and biotech sector. So here, there was a group of students that developed and helped develop and refine a business case for Crunchies. And the students got a real case to work on with real case owners. Crunchies is just about to compete in the European challenge competition. It's right now, next weekend. So we hope that, of course, they win. And if we look to the future, then we see that they get an Innofounder and start to grow their company. We see that they supply a case to the Masters of Innovation course. We see that they apply for project and research funding together with us. and of course that they continue to supply cases for teaching. But I can also put a little twist on this, because this has all been very student-centered. And we can take it from another angle, which is a research center. So here the example is that Peter receives a grant from the GUDP, an InnoGrass grant, and Mikkel starts his PhD project. They develop a new protein ingredient, and I'm glad to hear that we can ask every question that we like about novel foods. We will be doing that. We'll engage you. They develop a new protein ingredient. Teresa does her bachelor project on looking into the life cycle analysis and sustainability aspects. So this feeds information into the case of this new protein ingredient, and the students also get cutting-edge information about new ingredients and new production processes. Mikkel supplies a project for the entrepreneurship in the food and biotech sector course. So the students learn about a real case, and the business case gets applied into this project to help develop it and refine it. We see another student does her master's thesis on measuring the fiber and quantifying and characterizing the fiber in this ingredient. And we see that InnoGrass, they also supply a case to this LCA course at DTU. So they also get LCA data, life cycle analysis data, sustainability data, which they can help to build up and understand better whether this really is a more sustainable protein ingredient. Mikkel makes prototype foods of this ingredient, and we can also hope in the future there will be case for more courses. And of course, no pressure, Mikkel, but maybe you and Peter could start a company. So to finish up, we can create, I think, a perfect storm here of student education and learning, student startups, feeding these things directly, freshly baked, so to speak, still steaming from the oven, directly into new courses at DTU to inspire the students, to create more learning for the students, more ideas and innovations that spin out to more startups, and we can optimize the impact. So when we build this perfect storm, when the waves are created, we should surf them and get the most out of them. So thank you for your attention.